This module is intended to provide each counselor with tools that will help them to have positive interactions with their camper and to help their camper interact with others. Being mindful of clear and successful communication will help support all interactions at Kiwanis camp. Some campers will need very little support, while others may need many or all of the supports we discuss in this module. The overall goal of this module is that each counselor will feel comfortable communicating with their camper and will encourage participation and engagement throughout their time at camp.
Successful communication with any individual can be facilitated by using appropriate eye contact, making sure you have your communication partner's attention, and giving your partner plenty of time to respond. When communicating with individuals with disabilities, there are certain strategies to keep in mind that will help interactions go smoothly.
Using concise, concrete language, utilizing visual aids, and speaking in first-then statements are a few of these strategies.
Many campers will have language deficits that include working memory and vocabulary. For this reason, it is very important to use concise, concrete language. Avoid using many words to express a brief idea or asking multiple questions at once. Packing too much information or too many questions into one communication turn can make it hard for your camper to figure out what your main point is. This can leave your camper feeling confused or even overwhelmed and upset. Instead, be clear and straightforward. Use concrete vocabulary when possible and stay on topic. It is very helpful to express one idea at a time and allow your communication partner time to process and respond. Here you will see an example of a counselor using overly complex language.
Think of the zip line. It looks really exciting, but kind of intimidating. Do you think you want to go again? What do you think?
This interaction was very wordy and included many questions. This is an example of sending too many messages at once, which can be confusing and overwhelming for your camper. Here is an example of a simpler, clearer message.
Great job on the zip line. Did you have fun? Yeah! Woohoo! Woo!
Here you will see an example of a counselor using abstract language.
Whoa, how is it already noon? Time sure flies. I admire your perseverance at the adventure course today.
Abstract language includes metaphors, idioms, and abstract concepts, which can be very complex. While this may be appropriate for some campers, you should keep in mind that not all campers will understand this language. In this example, the counselor used an idiom, time flies, an abstract concept, perseverance, and a vague reference to time, around noon. It's best to avoid abstract language so campers don't feel confused and left out of conversations. The following interaction is an example of more concrete, direct language that results in a clearer message.
Almost time for lunch. That went fast. I like how hard you tried at the adventure course today.
Picture activity schedules and picture supports have been shown to help individuals complete a sequence of tasks, attend to tasks, transition from one task to another, or behave appropriately in various settings. Picture schedules allow campers to see what is coming next. Some campers rely on picture schedules in their daily lives because they are predictable, create a routine, and complement a verbal message. It is important to keep the schedule up to date each day so that the visual can be a reliable source of comfort for the camper. If there is a change in the routine, it is important to inform your camper as well as make the change on the schedule so they have access to this change in a concrete way. A picture schedule may help prevent a communication breakdown by lessening the cognitive load on the camper. Instead of having to remember the schedule for the day, they can refer to the schedule as needed. The picture supports help campers feel more connected to the process of their day and more secure in what will happen next. Here you will see an example of a communication breakdown.
When are we going to adventure? Well, first we're going to go to horses, and then art, and then lunch, and then adventure. I want to go to adventure first. Well, adventure is going to be after lunch. After art, after horses. Later today.
A successful interaction in which the message is received may include using two modes of presenting information. Many campers will receive the message better when it is presented visually in addition to verbally. When you present a lot of information at once, it is hard to remember. Having information visually represented and at hand when necessary can help prevent communication breakdowns. The following is an example of a successful way to communicate using a picture schedule.
When are we going to adventure? Well, let's look at our schedule. We just had breakfast, so we have horses next. And later this afternoon, we get adventure. I want to go to adventure first. Well, we get to go to adventure, but not until after we do some other fun activities. We'll go after lunch. Okay.
Another way to support campers is by using something called a visual timer. Visual timers allow campers to see how much time remains at each activity. Campers may struggle with the concept of time. It may seem abstract to say, we'll be at the horses for 30 minutes today. Some campers may begin asking after 5 minutes, if it has been 30 minutes yet. In order to prevent this breakdown, a visual timer will provide the information in a concrete way to the camper and will make the transition to the next activity smoother.
When are we going to art? Well, here's the timer that shows we have 10 more minutes at horses. Or we can look at our visual schedule. Right now we're at horses, then we go to art. Oh, okay, cool.
In addition to using picture schedules, using first-then statements is a great way of helping campers stay engaged with the current activity while also letting them know what is coming next. If a camper is inquiring about what activity they're going to next, or when they'll have time for a preferred activity, counselors can use first-then statements. This is a clear and concise way of providing that information. First-then statements can also be used in conjunction with picture schedules to clarify the message even more.
I want to listen to my music. When are we done with art? Well, we should probably finish up your art project. Why don't we work for like 20 more minutes, okay? And you can always listen to music later. Let's work on art.
Like our first example about using concise language, this example is too wordy. In addition, it sends mixed messages by including a rhetorical question and a vague response referring to later today. A successful interaction is more direct and provides a clear response to the camper's question. Here is an example.
I want to listen to music. When are we done with art? Well, first we'll finish art, then we'll listen to music. I like your pink headphones. Thanks.
Last but not least, the five-finger contract is an integral part of the Kiwanis camp experience. It is used as a tool to encourage safe and thoughtful decision-making, as well as to promote optimal interpersonal social skills between campers. The presentation and review of the five-finger contract at each activity provides campers with a way to actively participate in a social interaction. It is important to encourage and praise the campers' participation, regardless of whether or not they correctly label each of the parts of the five-finger contract.
Charity, what does your pinky finger stand for in our five-finger contract? Have fun. Actually, pinkies be safe. Our thumb is have fun.
The previous example presents the five-finger contract as a test. It appears to the camper that there is only one right answer. This may discourage participation since campers may not always know the one right answer. In the following example, notice campers were asked to participate in a more open-ended way. The five-finger contract is not meant to test the camper's knowledge, but rather to give them the opportunity to participate and be praised for their participation. It is important to be flexible and praise all participation so that campers feel comfortable sharing their ideas with others. Asking open-ended questions encourages participation from the campers and allows them to engage in a more meaningful interaction.
Here's our five-finger contract. Can you point out one part of our contract? Stop and think. That's right. It's super important to stop and think when we're participating at Kiwanis camp. What's another one? Have fun.
Using concise, concrete language, visual supports, if-then phrasing, and asking open-ended questions can really help ensure successful interactions with your camper. Most importantly, all of these tools should be used while keeping in mind that the goal is to encourage meaningful participation at Kiwanis camp. And remember, regardless of who you're interacting with, you should always use eye contact and face the speaker, gain your communication partner's attention before starting to speak, and give your communication partner plenty of time to respond. We hope that when you get to Kiwanis camp, you feel confident in your ability to successfully communicate with your camper, and remember these tools if a communication breakdown occurs.